Hiya, I'm Steve. Must admit this morning's been a bit of a learning curve for me. Making these videos for the VC is harder than it looks. This is about the sixth take. I hope I get it right this time. I just thought I've seen a lot of you guys on YouTube, and I've been meaning to do this for ages, but due to my circumstances, that's prevented me in a way. I was born in Reading, UK, England, the world, but I don't actually live here. I'm actually at my auntie's house because she has Alzheimer's, and I'm currently looking after her. But I actually live in Birmingham now, not in Birmingham, but outside of Birmingham. And we all know how famous Birmingham is for the heavy metal scene. It's where bands like this came from, Black Sabbath. And also another band that was famous for that area as well, Napalm Death. They came from near Solihull. I think the place called Meridian. And I've got a couple of their CDs at the moment that I'm currently listening to. And the story behind it was that I was on the computer maybe a couple of years ago, and I was shuffling through YouTube to see if there's any people with my sort of interest. And I stumbled upon a guy called Metal Theologian, and I started listening to his videos, and the guy sounds a very educated guy, and I wasn't actively collecting records at the time, because what happened was I was doing it back in the 80s when all this music was coming out, and the late 70s, and the problem was where I lived was a really rough neighbourhood, and I got hit twice. Unfortunately, when they hit me, they took half my records. And in them days, I was an active tape trader, and I used to collect all my metal on cassettes. And unfortunately, they all got ground on the carpets, and I lost some cracking music in them days. So I was shuffling through YouTube. I discovered Aaron, Metal Theologian, talk about his stuff. Then slightly a bit afterwards, I stumbled across the great Scott Walters talk about heavy metal. And that sort of aroused my interest in serious, what I call serious collecting again, in heavy metal. I do collect other genres, but my main interest is heavy metal, particularly from the early 80s. And that's where all my collecting seems to focus. And after that, I was watching Aaron when he started, approximately 2 years ago. My life, I don't want to go into it, but I had circumstances where I had to sort of travel up and down the UK. From my home in Shropshire, which is on the other side of Birmingham, and I have to travel down south where I was born. I am a Reading supporter, and we are playing QPR away this afternoon in English soccer, and so I thought I'd make this video a short one. It's the first game of the season's starting to start, and I am a passionate soccer follower. And yeah, I was watching Aaron, and I followed all these guys, and it sort of said, well, you've got some good stuff, or you did, what the burglars left you with, you could show the community, and you've got a bit of a knowledge. You've been at it sort of since when Queen had Bohemian Rhapsody in the charts, and I can remember all the stuff coming out in the first place to people of my age group, and I thought I'd show a few bits and bobs. When I say that, I haven't got many records here, so I am staying at my auntie's, and I do go to a record store in the UK, and I've been going there since the early 80s, and it's called the Rock Box, and it's in Camberley. It's on the London Road, and if you're ever in England, or you are located in England, I recommend you go there. It's never disappointed me. You get the common stuff, which everybody's got, like the Deep Purples. They've got a good stock of that. They've got some of the more obscure stuff as well, and I really enjoy going there. So I've been picking up a lot of stuff there. I've been posting them on a Heart of Metal, which is a Facebook site. I believe Scott Walters is a member of that site, but only as stills. So that sort of pricked me interest. I thought, well, should I have to go at making this video? And it has been hard work, so I take my hat off to anybody who does this, because it ain't an easy job. And maybe one of us would get lucky one day and end up getting nominated for an Oscar or some award. But now where I live, it's steeped in history, because Camberley is opposite Sandhurst, which is a famous military camp, and just down the road is a famous airport called Blackbush. It's where all the American bombers took off in World War II. there was a lot of American and Canadians down there, and that's where the bombers went off in the war. And also, not far away, just for a bit of interest, was where one of the James Bond films was filmed. I used to walk the dog round there, and this guy says James Bond, they made a movie down there. I believe Robert De Niro shot films down here as well. So it's quite an area steeped in history. So I better show some vinyl, not talk about my life. And I thought I'd start the ball rolling with a Cloudy Milder. I was watching his film the other day, and I picked up this album, a band called Rogue Male. Sorry we can't see it, but he said this album wasn't quite as good as the first. I haven't heard it yet because the way I get my music at the moment is through the laptop, because I've got nothing here. But I bought this album purely on Cloudy Milder said. I trawled through eBay and got myself a copy, and it cost a few pounds, so it was a good pickup. The next band I did buy from Camberley, the rest of the albums I did get from Camberley, was this band. It's a new discovery for me. It's a band called Sword. This is the second album. They were a Canadian outfit, heavy metal. It was a brand new discovery for me, and the first album just blew my mind away. It was absolutely busting album. Some people might not agree with me, but I thought it was a fantastic listen to. I played it a few times, so I was lucky enough to go down to Camberley, and they got me the second album, and she knew, lovely Mel knew I was looking for it, and it's in pristine condition as well, got really well, and did really well with it. And another band, I also was lucky enough to get me Holy Grail. It's not a Holy Grail metal album, but it's a Holy Grail item to me, because it took me nearly 9 years to get hold of a copy, and I shall leave that one to last. But another album I picked up was this album. It's a common album again, we all know what it is, but this is the first UK press version of it, and it only cost me a tenner. I've already got it in the collection. I can't remember which album it is. I think it could be the 5th or the 6th release of Accept. It's a cracking band, German metal. Udo Dirschneider, we all know the lead singer, so I'm not going to talk about it much. But yeah, I only bought this album because it was the first UK press, and I'm not a massive collector of first pressings, they tend to be very expensive, but this album was at the right price. I thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. And a brand new discovery for me. This is what I like about Camberley, is when you go down there, I've never ever heard of this band before yesterday, and they were cheap, so I thought I'd pick them up. And basically it's a Swedish outfit, I believe, and I want to show you them in chronological order. This is the 1984 album, a band called Spellbound. They were cheap. I've heard a few tracks on YouTube, and they sound alright. Typical sort of 80s metal, and must admit I haven't heard the full albums. We're lacking a record player here. When I get home I should definitely give a listen to. And I also got the this one was 1985 Spellbound. Again, I've listened to a couple of tracks off here, and the lead singer can half sing, and it's got some great riffs. I'm not a professional record critic. I'm not going to say whether they're good or bad. That's up to you to discover. I'm just going to tell the VC what I'm actually buying. Some albums I do buy, but I don't keep them. If they are I don't like them, I just take them back to the record stores and trade them in again. I'm not going to say whether they're good or bad. It's immaterial. They're up for you to discover yourself, and if you like them, you like them. If you don't, just take them back. That's what my attitude is. Now, the last two albums are from one of my top favourite 3 bands of all time. It's not one of the British outfits or Iron Maiden or anything like that. It's this band. It's an American outfit from Florida, America. I believe this is the 3rd album. Sabotage, at the beginning of their career, were a power metal outfit, but they went into more progressive side as they went on. The lead singer was, I'm just trying to think, it was John Oliver, and his brother Chris. Now Chris is no longer with us. We all know how he had a tragic accident. But the first albums were power metal, and it's one of my favourite metal bands. The next album I'm going to show you was the Holy Grail item. I just could not obtain a copy for a decent price. They wanted like 50, 60, 70 quid for it. and I'm sorry, but I can't afford that kind of money. I can't justify spending that sort of money on a vinyl. And sure enough, I walked into the Rock Box last week. I got the copy for £18, and that's this album. Now, this is their sixth album. What happened was they recorded it, I believe, and they went to Toronto and saw an Andrew Lloyd Webber Phantom of the Opera. It's a gutter ballad. It's sort of a how can I put it? Not a concept album. It's sort of a it's hard to describe. I can't really describe it, but it's an absolutely brilliant album. I'm just trying to think. The Gutter Ballad was, oh yeah, When the Crowds Were Gone and Gutter Ballad were the main singles off this album. And to me, I was shaking like a leaf when I got this one. I had it on CD. Unfortunately, when they nicked all my collection, they must have relieved me of it, so I haven't got it anymore. But I've never ever owned this album on vinyl. As I say, it is quite hard one to get hold of. And as I say, they wanted absolutely stupid money for it, like they do with a lot of this heavy metal nowadays. They just want silly money for the stuff. Now I'm incredibly blessed that way, so I got most of the stuff when it came out. And I feel so sorry for these young people nowadays who have to fork out like 15, 20, 25 quid an album. So I got it at a decent price. But this is just like an introductory video anyway. If it's any good, you'll be watching it. If it ain't, it's going in the bin. I'll try again. But this is about the fifth take, and to get the lighting right. And I say, I really take my hat off to the people in the BC. I don't know what sort of trouble you get doing these videos, but I've tried my best. And as I say, I'm a headbanging Zulu. Please subscribe if you like it. If you think it's a load of rubbish, don't bother. But yeah, I hope to make a video soon when I'm home, when you can see my setup and you see all my vinyl. I can pull some really good albums out. Some really good death metal albums I own and stuff like that. But that's what the thieves left me with anyway. But I've got to go anyway, because I watch the football season has just started. And it's Championship leagues. The actual Premiership kicks off next week, when the big clubs like your Man United all start playing. So yeah, farewell, folks. And I'll talk to you again, hopefully, if this all goes to plan. Bye. Yeah, that's going to come out. Oh.